Why, it's a jungle out here. So many frightening creatures. Are they all truly dangerous? Will I ever get out alive? Well, this looks like the least dangerous thing around here. Oh, just what I need. I can discover where the creatures are hiding. Oh, this snake looks familiar. Oh, good thing it's not venomous. It merely squeezes the breath out of its victims. These words look hot. Unbelievable! Green snakes that start out red. I don't have to stay in the jungle. I can find creatures that hunt in the grasslands. Or, with just a click, visit an animal that lives in the Arctic. Wild animals are everywhere, even in movies. I can find out about creatures that live in the ocean.
Polar bears can paddle around in icy waters. Another mammal that you might see swimming among the ice floes is a killer whale.
What does this beast have for dinner? Oh, good. People are not on the menu. There are games. Oh, I think I know the answer to this one. Yes! In the index, I can find all types of creatures by clicking buttons or by typing. With the Options menu, I can print or copy any creature to the desktop or to the clipboard, or control whether there's a lot of noise or just a little. I can even install a screensaver. Oh! Expert guides are always on hand to show a way through the wilderness.
Come along and I'll show you some of the tough shots to get. Click my button to get started.
Why, I can survive in a world of dangerous creatures. And you can too. There are hundreds of wild creatures waiting to eat you. Waiting to meet you. In Microsoft Dangerous Creatures. Don't stare at a grizzly. That's a challenge in bear language. Now, speak softly and back away. If it attacks and you don't faint of fright right away, play dead and the bear may leave you alone.
Black bears and grizzlies live in the same neighborhoods. The black bear, which sometimes looks brown, doesn't have a hump. Grizzlies can grow from less than a pound to over 1,500 pounds, and in only 10 years or so. Grizzlies love fish, especially salmon.
Salmon. Spawn.
Face to face with a standing grizzly? Back away slowly, or shout and wave your arms. In salmon season, grizzlies meet at the local fishing hole. A few arguments always break out over who gets the best fishing spots. But there's usually enough fish for every bear to get its share. As more and more people take over the land, there are fewer places for bears to live. And who's the biggest bear of all? Grizzlies easily outweigh polar bears and black bears. Cave paintings and fossilized bones tell us that giant bears lived in Europe hundreds of thousands of years ago.
Ice Age.
Grizzly bears are gigantic, but their newborn cubs could fit into a shoebox. Aren't animal babies interesting?
You can't help wanting to touch a baby animal, but remember that it's wild and it can't know what's going on in your mind. And more important, its mother is probably nearby.
Play has a serious side. It helps develop skills that wild animals will need as adults. Of course, the babies don't know that. To them, it's just plain fun. Taking care of her young is a big thing in an animal mom's life. Sounds a lot like a human mom, doesn't it? You were born looking like your parents. That's not the case with all creatures. You learn about life while you play, don't you? Well, so do these furry little guys. When you lay eggs underwater, you've got to know what you're doing.
Embryo.
What a bunch of boas! In the animal kingdom, playing together is more than just having fun. When there's traveling to be done, it's nice to get a free ride. You may be tempted to pet a baby wild animal, but don't. Its family is probably close by and probably very protective.
Your mom probably goes to the grocery store to get food for you. But if you came from a family of wild predators, your mother would have to hunt and kill before she could bring home dinner.
Unlike human babies, some young animals can't just wait for food to be brought to them. On top of all her other work, a cougar mother has to do a lot of moving, too. Most mammals protect their young well. The instincts of all animals direct them toward the same goal: to reproduce and pass their genes along to the next generation. Even though mom's around and dad isn't, boys will be boys and girls will be girls.
Gene.
Living alone can be okay, but when it comes to hunting and protection, a group's often the way to go. Even though mom's around and dad isn't. Some animals are born with all the knowledge they need to survive, but mammals need to listen closely to mom's advice. Touching is a great way to communicate and let someone know you care about them. Some animals are better at this than people.
If you see a jaguar, count yourself lucky. Oh, most people will never get a look at this beautiful cat. In tropical rainforests, be sure to look up as well as all around. You may see a jaguar on the branch above you.
Jaguars prowl their territories alone, except when males and females come together to mate. These beautiful cats love water and are famous for their fishing techniques. They roam the same Central American neighborhood, but an ocelot will always back away from the bigger jaguar. Jaguars, leopards, ocelots, and cheetahs. Spots and more spots. But all the spots are different. A good job of camouflage mimics the surroundings. A motionless jaguar is almost invisible. Big, mysterious cats like jaguars have inspired awe in many cultures through the years. They climb, they jump, they leap. Jaguars are all-round great hunters. Jaguars like variety in their meals. Here are a few possible menu items.
If a wolf is following you, don't be too concerned. Wolves have never been known to attack humans, but you don't want to encourage one to come too close either.
The wolf, like the domestic dog and other canines, has the teeth of a predator. A meal may last for days. Leaders eat first, and adults return to the den to feed the babies. People thought wolves killed livestock, so the only ones left are in the northern parts of North America. The Tasmanian wolf, extinct now, was really a marsupial. The maned wolf, really a dog, may soon also disappear.
Marsupial.
The Tasmanian wolf. Lips pulled back, teeth bared. It's not a smile. It means back off. Wolves communicate with all kinds of visual signals, as well as with a wide variety of sounds. For camouflage and warmth in the winter, wear a thick white coat, like the Arctic fox, a cousin of the wolf. A dominant male and female lead the wolf pack. Hello, or keep your distance, or I'm having fun. The howl of the wolf can be heard a long way off. Wolf pups learn by playing. After a few years, they leave to start their own packs.
Threatened elephants spread out their ears shortly before they charge. Now, that's your signal to back off. You see, when they're really serious, they fold back their ears and run straight for you. Now, actually, I'd suggest that you retreat if an elephant is even looking intently at you.
A charging elephant spreads its ears to make itself seem even larger than it is. Most charges are bluffs, but unless you're another elephant, you better not wait around to find out. The oldest female leads her group of females and babies. The males usually drift from family to family. It's handy to have a hose for a nose. Elephants use their trunks to drink, to shower, to touch each other, and to signal when it's time to move on. So many elephants were killed for the ivory in their tusks that hunters now have to get special licenses. All elephants have tusks, which are really special teeth, but some tusks are much bigger than others. Grabbing something? An African elephant uses the lips at the end of its trunk. An Indian elephant rolls its trunk around the object. The elephant's foot is something like ours, except that it's standing on big, flat, shock-absorbing toes. An elephant has relatives, but there's very little family resemblance.
Manatee. Aardvark. Paleocene period.
For centuries, people have captured and trained elephants to do their heavy work. Elephants take between 10 and 15 years to grow up. When they do, the females stay with the group, but the males leave.
If you see a shark fin surface near you as you're swimming, don't start thrashing around. Just swim steadily toward the beach, repeating, "Jaws was just a movie. Jaws was just a movie."
20,000 teeth in one lifetime? The shark is a tooth factory, with rows of replacement teeth at the ready. A chainmail suit protects a diver against a shark's bite, but not from bruises or broken bones. Clever and careful, the great white shark closes in on prey with a spiraling pattern. When you eat fish and chips, you may be eating a type of shark. Sharks provide other types of food too. Sharks have lived on Earth since dinosaur times, and they haven't changed much for millions of years. Streamlined, powerful predators, they're perfectly suited for life in the sea.
Prehistoric.
Caging people for a change. That way, sharks and people can both get a good look at each other.
Tarantulas are big and hairy, and they may jump at you if you tease them, so they can be plenty scary, but they're really very nice spiders to have around.
In spite of its reputation, the tarantula, which is any big and hairy spider, isn't really dangerous to humans.
Venom.
Spiders, including tarantulas, have beautifully designed fangs, don't you think? Not all spiders hunt the same way. Some use tricks to lure their prey close. Not all spiders hunt the same. Spiders eating mice? Lizards? Here's a spider with a really big appetite. How does a big, fearsome spider like a tarantula end up as baby food? Tarantulas don't build webs to catch their prey. Instead, they are hunting spiders that pounce on their victims. Some even eat birds.
Harpy eagles can swoop down on a monkey at 50 miles per hour. But you're safe, as long as you don't wear a monkey suit and swing from trees in the rainforest.
As well as hunting on land or in the air, many eagles have mastered fishing. From bald eagles in North America to fish eagles in Africa, this sport goes on around the world. Hawks and eagles are powerful hunters. Owls do most of their hunting at night.
Voles.
An eagle's incredible long-distance vision zeroes in on even the smallest animals. The sloth and the spider monkey have to guard against the harpy eagle. It can swoop down at 50 miles per hour. The eagle is a raptor, or a bird of prey, as is the osprey. Just look at those wings.
Endangered. Steps.
Killer whales, orcas, rarely attack people. So unless you spend a lot of time swimming with salmon, penguins, or seals, you're safe.
An orca stalks its prey not only at sea, but sometimes on the shore. After snagging a seal, an orca may play with it like a cat with a mouse. The orca is actually a dolphin. Orcas lurk in the water. They sometimes even lunge onto the land to get their prey. Here's what might be served on an orca's seafood platter. What a way for a killer whale to send a message. It's called breaching. Here's an idea of what squids had to avoid during prehistoric times. As many as 50 orcas live in one pod. They travel and hunt together, bound together for life.
Echolocation. Echolocation. Warm-blooded.
Polar bears can run faster than you can, and they've been known to track their prey for days. Oh, but unless you're planning on exploring the Arctic alone, you'll never need to outrun a polar bear.
What a swimmer! The polar bear can swim far and fast, and it's practically unsinkable. That wintry cold takes a little getting used to, even for baby polar bears. Too close to civilization? Handouts and garbage aren't good for a bear. A polar bear waits for dinner to appear in a seal's air hole. On the lookout for leftovers, the Arctic fox will trail after both wolves and polar bears. Fancy footwork is needed to navigate the ice floes, and the polar bear is up to it. The Arctic, a world of ice, snow, and bone-chilling water. The environment that would kill a person is only a wintry playground for young polar bears.
Unless you look like an antelope, you're not in danger from a cheetah. And it's a good thing. You couldn't beat a cheetah in a foot race anyway.
Cheetahs are fast, but some other animals are faster than you might think. The rush of a cheetah causes panic in a wildebeest herd. In the turmoil, the cat picks out a victim, usually the weakest or the slowest. After a few seconds, the chase is over. This time, the hunt is successful. The serval and the caracal live in the African savanna. Young cheetahs practice their hunting skills while playing with each other. Cheetahs are champion runners, but their bodies really aren't made for fighting. The mother cheetah will spend more than a year teaching her babies how to survive.
Gestation period.
The cheetah has dog-like claws and paws, and can't retract its claws as most cats can. In fact, cheetah means dog-cat.
When a rattlesnake rattles, that means you're too close. Back off. Yes. Oh, heed the snake's warning, and you'll part company without getting bitten. Personally, I wish all snakes were as thoughtful as rattlers.
It's hard to tell which snakes are venomous, especially when they look so much alike. Just imagine 1,000 rattlesnakes all curled up for a long winter's hibernation. To each his own, king snakes from Mexico and California find the rattlesnake a tasty meal. Rattlesnakes save their venom for their prey. When two rattlers get into a fight, they don't bite, they wrestle. The snake that can force the other's head to the ground is the winner. The rattlesnake has long, slender organs for its long, slender body. With a mouth that can stretch wide and specialized fangs for pumping venom, the rattlesnake is well equipped. That buzzing noise is meant as a warning, so if you hear it out on the trail, look out for a rattlesnake. Ever find a whole snake skin? A snake grows out of its skin and leaves it behind. A lizard leaves behind pieces.
Infrared.
Crabs are mostly scavengers, so while you're on the beach, keep moving. If you lie still for too long, a crab may think you're dead and come up to take a bite.
Crabs. Whatever are these odd beasts up to? They're climbing trees, practicing weird arm signals on the beach, and dancing with each other in the sand. It may be called a velvet crab, but it's a fierce hunter. A male fiddler crab uses his big fiddling claw to protect his territory on the beach. The crayfish, related to the crab and the lobster, can live only in clean rivers and lakes. Because of its soft body, the hermit crab has to borrow a discarded shell for protection. A discarded shell is home to a hermit crab and his guest, the ragworm. Does this crab look like a pie crust to you? Well, it should, because that's how it got its name. The king ragworm breathes through things that look like legs. Some of these worms grow almost a meter long.
Within a pride, lions are used to fighting and wrestling with each other, even the cubs. So don't tease a lion cub. It may come after you with its claws out.
Unlike other cats, lions are social. They live in groups called prides. In the African savanna, the lioness is the queen of the hunters. Cats see in the dark, but why do their eyes glow? In the lion family, Mom hunts, but Dad's the boss. One zebra a week keeps a lion happy, but the hunting doesn't always go that well. A lioness stalks through the tall grass. African grazing animals are used to the sight, so panic doesn't set in until she charges. Although the females made the kill, the whole pride shares the meal.
Hippos spend most of their day sleeping or resting in water. Look for ears and nostrils at the surface before paddling into an area. If you see any, keep your distance. Hippos will charge, and they aren't slowpokes.
Hippos usually come out at night to graze, staying close to the water. Mothers guard their babies ferociously. Look at that mouth, those teeth. Hippos are some of the most dangerous animals in Africa. Hippos spend a lot of time underwater, even giving birth to their babies there. You can see a lot of animals at the waterhole, but you'd better keep your distance. These peaceful-looking hippos are covered with scars. And here's the reason. Those long, sharp teeth. Fighting, splashing, and biting are common events in a hippo herd. Finding enough to eat can be a challenge for these huge herbivores. Hippos in a waterhole are like the tip of an iceberg. There may be dozens more hidden beneath the water's surface. Black widows bite only in self-defense, so if you see one, leave it alone. They like to make their webs across the seats in outdoor toilets. I suggest you look before you sit. A female black widow is a good homemaker. She guards her egg sac until the babies hatch, carefully wraps up extra food for future meals. Spiders use silk thread produced within their own bodies to make their webs. A female black widow is a much better mom than she is a mate. Some females are more deadly than the males. A bite from the black widow or the rattlesnake will hurt, but it's not likely to kill you. You'd bring a gift too. A female black widow, like some scorpions, may eat the male after mating.
A man-o-war's tentacles can sting long after the creature is dead, so don't touch any part of a man-o-war that you find on a beach.
Slimy mucus protects the sea cucumber and the little fish that live with the man-o-war. It starts off with a single polyp and ends up as a colony of thousands of polyps and a gas-filled sail. Meet the man-o-war.
Polyps.
They're closely related, but the jellyfish is a single creature, the man-o-war an entire colony. One sting, a paralyzed victim. The man-o-war and relatives like the sea anemone are well armed. One sting. A man-o-war isn't just one creature, but a whole colony. The gas-filled balloon keeps the colony afloat, while the stinging tentacles below keep it fed. Clownfish and sea anemones have an unusual relationship.
If you see a cougar, now don't approach it. Remember that you're in its territory, you see, and it may treat you as badly as you would treat an intruder in your own home.
If wild animals held Olympic Games, a cougar would enter many of the jumping and sprinting events. This agile cat can easily leap distances many times its own length. When bounding after prey, it can switch directions quickly, even in the snow. It lives in the snow and looks like a bobcat. Meet the lynx before they're all gone. Cougars used to roam all over North America. Now they're found only in remote locations. The spots on a cougar cub are camouflage to help protect it while it's growing up. Here are two beautiful relatives of the cougar that prefer a warmer climate. Whatever you call it, the bobcat or the wildcat, it hunts at night and there aren't many left.
Tigers don't like to attack prey that's looking at them, you see. So if you must go for a hike in tiger country, wear a mask on the back of your head. Well, you may feel silly, but the eyes on the mask might keep a tiger from sneaking up behind you.
Tigers love the water. They can drink and cool off and catch their dinner. A tiger's coat blends into tall grass and brush. What better way to sneak up on prey? Unlike lions, tigers prefer to fend for themselves and live alone. Tiger cubs are born completely dependent on their mother, just like baby kittens. Mama tiger looks after the babies for about 2 years. Dad, meanwhile, is off on his own. Tigers need 3 things: cover from which to stalk their prey, water, and of course the prey itself.
Species.
No pussycat here. The tiger hunts with incredible speed and strength.
Welcome! Gather round. Our paddlers are just about ready to take us on a bird-watching trip down the river into the Amazon rainforest, where, if we're lucky, we'll see a flock of brilliant parrots on the wing. Oh, click my button when you're ready to get underway. In this tropical rainforest, there's a lot of heat and humidity. The plants grow up, down, and sideways, so thick in some places that it's hard to see the wildlife. Oh, you never know what might be lurking behind a giant philodendron leaf.
Do you know how many plants and animals live in trees, especially in a tropical rainforest? I started taking inventory once, but I gave up after I ran out of paper in my notebook.
Now here's a peculiar kind of forest, and just look at what lives in it. Tropical rainforests have many of the world's plant and animal species, but maybe not for long. Forests are not just trees. They provide food and shelter for all kinds of animals. In Africa, endangered mountain gorillas play in the small forest reserves they call home. When forests disappear, so do the animals that depend on them. Some areas really get a lot of rain. Here's one of them. In cooler climates, getting along can be complicated, but these guys have learned how. Deciduous forests change dramatically with the seasons. Deciduous forests change dramatically with the seasons.
Oh my, look at this. This passion vine caterpillar isn't really dangerous to us, but you wouldn't want to touch those nasty-looking spines. And it's full of cyanide, too. It absorbs the poison from the passion vines it eats. Stand back, give it plenty of room.
If you're a caterpillar, you need to protect yourself. Some wear sharp spines, and others bristle with irritating hair. Or you might look like a bird dropping. Then no one would want to eat you.
Swallowing one of these is like taking a cyanide capsule. If you really must taste a caterpillar or a butterfly, eat a different one. But better yet, don't eat one at all.
The passion vine caterpillar isn't the only creature that wears spikes for protection. The passion vine caterpillar has neighbors in the tropical rainforest: tiger centipedes and curly-haired tarantulas. Passionflower leaves, poisonous to most, are a gourmet meal to this caterpillar. Passion vine butterflies come in many different colors and patterns. Unlike most butterflies, the passion vine butterfly isn't good to eat. Scary tricks from the puss moth caterpillar. It has a few surprises up its sleeve. Disguise yourself as a flower like the crab spider and the praying mantis do, and you'll catch yourself a meal. Magic. Butterflies and moths go from eggs to caterpillars to chrysalises to winged glory.
And look, they're on the ground. Step back quickly. That's a Brazilian wandering spider, one of the deadliest spiders in the world. There may be others about. Let's get into the canoes now and out onto the river where it's safer. Keep your hands in the boat, please. Maybe it's not so safe out here. Oh, that's not a log floating by. No, one of these crocodilians could snap your fingers right off.
Oh, and you thought they only had gators in Florida, hmm? Now, down here, they're called caimans, and they'll eat anything they can grab. Oh, but back to the birds. I think I see a scarlet macaw now. Oh, let's just paddle a little closer to the branch overhanging the river. Oh dear, I've got to get new glasses. Actually, this bird eats scarlet macaws. Yes, plucks them right out of the air. Oh, keep the small children out of sight, folks. Harpy eagles also carry off monkeys, and I don't know if they can tell the difference between a 2-year-old and a howler monkey. They seem very similar, even to me. Oh dear, what are those yellow eyes over there? It's a jaguar. Oh, stay calm, stay calm. It's a big cat, but it's not likely to attack. I don't think. Well, yes, right, they do swim, but we're right out in the middle, safe in the river. It can't get us here. Anyway, jaguars don't attack people. Well, not tourists on vacation anyway, I'm sure. Let's focus on river life. For example, if you lean over close to the water, you'll notice a school of beautiful red-bellied fish. Notice the round shape and the mouthful of teeth. I say, what impressive teeth. Oh no, get your faces out of the water. Those are piranhas. They're generally placid, but they could bite your noses right off if they chose to. Yeah, oh, I knew they were piranhas. Yeah, I just thought everyone should have a close look.
Piranhas are more likely to attack when water levels are really low and they are concentrated into small areas. So don't go wading in small pools in South America during the dry season, okay?
Piranha's teeth are designed to slice off just one bite. A barracuda's teeth snag the whole victim. A single piranha is not much of a threat to a swimming animal. But a hungry school of piranhas, each fish armed with razor-sharp teeth, can quickly make a victim disappear. Even with their eyes closed, fish can sense what's going on around them. A rainforest is a beautiful place, but you've got to watch your step. A lone barracuda is actually more of a threat than an entire school of them.
On the right, note the beautifully colored leaf floating by. Rather large, nice pattern, and followed by a tail. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, that's an anaconda, a rather gigantic type of boa. Oh, these snakes swim. They lounge around on the banks. Oh, they could be anywhere. Eat fish and caimans and birds and small children. Oh, just kidding about the small children, folks. But don't let it climb into the canoe just in case. There's another type of boa over there. And, well, really, it's swallowing one of our birds. Well, now, how are we supposed to bird watch when snakes are gulping them down at every opportunity, honestly? My, this is an awfully snaky place. Up there on the branch of that tree, that's a baby emerald tree boa. Oh, yes, I know. Emerald does mean green, and yes, obviously this snake is red. But that's because it's young yet. As it gets older, its green spots will get bigger and bigger until it's not red anymore, you see. Now there, overhead, is an adult emerald tree boa. Oh, possibly the baby's mother. That red one I just pointed out will look just like this when it's grown. Oh, really? It's one of nature's magic acts.
Boas aren't venomous, but they can bite, and they have sharp teeth. Don't move your hand quickly in front of a boa's head, or it may mistake your hand for prey. And don't ever let a boa give you a hug. Hanging upside down is no problem for an emerald tree boa. It just wraps its tail around a branch as an anchor. Swallowing a full-grown parrot for supper might be a little harder. These interesting reptiles live on South Pacific islands. Camouflage for the growing emerald boa. Red at first for the low bushes. Emerald green by tree time. Elastic jaws. You can see why rats go out of their way to avoid a boa constrictor. Clever camouflage. The emerald tree boa can hide from the harpy eagle and sneak up on a nice opossum dinner. The anaconda, a type of water boa, can grow to be a giant. Similar lifestyles, different continents. The green tree python and the emerald boa. Speaking of magic acts, there's one right here beneath the canoe. Oh, don't dabble your fingers in the water. This is an electric eel. It's a fish that can generate electricity, can give you quite a jolt. No extension cords or plug-ins needed. No, it can just zap you from afar. Snakes, piranhas, electric eels. This expedition is getting quite out of hand. Let's pull over to the bank and try to spot some nice birds or tropical butterflies.
You wouldn't stick your finger into an electrical socket, would you? So stay away from an electric eel. These creatures can send 600 volts your way. If the shock doesn't kill you, it'll sure make your hair stand on end.
The marks on an electric eel's skin are not pimples, but electric receptors. These fish use electric pulses, not only to stun their prey, but also to communicate with each other. The electric ray, related to the shark, stuns its prey with 200 volts of electricity.
Cartilage.
Baby eels don't need a map to find their way through hundreds of miles of ocean. Radar and an organ that stuns with a 550-volt blast? The electric eel is shocking. Eels come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Here's a cat you don't want to cuddle up with.
At last, some of the beauties of nature. Oh, gather round. Let's admire this colorful flower here. Oh, egad, it's a frog! Oh, no touching. This is a poison arrow frog. It doesn't bite, but it can ooze venom through its skin. Let's just let it mind its own business, and we'll mind ours, Don't even think about touching a brilliantly colored tree frog. It's likely to be highly toxic. Just admire the bright colors from afar. I always use binoculars myself. Yes, can't be too careful.
Another brightly colored amphibian lives in the rainforest of Central America. Frogs in bogs, frogs in ponds, frogs in swamps. But frogs in trees? Why, of course frogs have ears. They just prefer to keep them out of sight. Who can tell poison arrow frogs or mantellas apart? Even experts have trouble. Frogs, like these two for example, are very sophisticated creatures underwater. Frogs that look like ducks, or maybe more like pieces of bark. Poison arrow frogs watch over their babies until they mature and their own poisonous protection takes over. Tiny, pretty, and deadly. Watch out for the bright yellow frog and the blue-ringed octopus. We can learn a lot from animals, like when things might be going really wrong. Poison arrow frogs live in the trees of the rainforest. When you're a tiny frog, it's a good defense to be poisonous.
And now, look what's marching our way. Army ants! Oh, they do have rather awe-inspiring pincers, but just stand out of their way and you'll be quite all right. Oh, some forest people even welcome the invasion of army ants. The people just clear out of their huts for a few days, taking their pets and groceries with them, of course, and let the ants march through. The army ants devour all the bugs they can find, and when there's no food left, they move on. Then the people come back to a nice clean hut. No more fleas, cockroaches, or bed bugs to worry about.
Don't lay awake at night worrying about army ants. They have pretty short legs and you can easily outrun them. If they march into your house, take a vacation for a few days and take your pets with you.
Soldier ants are part of a continuously moving army of hundreds or even thousands of ants. Any animal that doesn't move out of the army's way is quickly reduced to a skeleton by the troops' attack. Groups of ants, called colonies, share work and food. Ants, bees, and wasps all belong to a group called Hymenoptera. Ants have good reason to fear anteaters, their sharp claws and long, sticky tongues. Thousands of army ants carry their queen in a living nest made of their own bodies, even bridging water. Some insects live in colonies ruled by a queen. Other females are workers and will never lay eggs. Many insects, like wasps and termites, build elaborate nests.
Now, what's that snuffling about in the bushes over there? No, it's probably headhunters or cannibals the way this tour is going. Oh, thank goodness, it's only a tapir. Oh, sort of a furry, pig-shaped animal with a handy short trunk for a nose. Yes, one of a jaguar's favorite foods. Well, now that I think of it, a jaguar may be close behind. I suggest that we scoot back to the hotel and birdwatch around the swimming pool. I'm sure we'll see parrots there. If you want to explore on your own, you can click the buttons below. But remember, you won't be covered by insurance should you be swallowed by an anaconda or diced by piranhas. Now, for safety's sake, you might want to click my button again to get back to the guides screen, where you can take another guided tour.
Did you know that when people get hurt by wild animals, it's usually because they're doing something really dumb? Click my button over there to the right, and I'll show you what I mean. Oh, what a sweet little thing. I'll just give it these marshmallows, Herman, while you take a picture. Famous last words. While the tourists are sidling up to the bear cub, Mom is probably browsing just on the other side of that big tree. All it takes is one little squeak from Baby. Whoa, yeah, and Mom's a whole lot bigger than most people count on, not to mention faster and meaner. After all, just what is that stranger doing with her cub? Keep the marshmallows in the car, and you'll stand a better chance of keeping all your body parts in one place. Cameras get a lot of amateur photographers in trouble. The scenario usually goes something like this. Just a little closer, Noreen. Just a little closer. 5 more steps and this shot will be perfect. Sure. A buffalo might let you come 5 steps closer, but who knows? 2 more steps might be the limit before it stomps you into a throw rug. These aren't tame cattle. Cape buffaloes have killed people. When you're on safari, stay in the vehicle.
An African buffalo pays no attention to an oxpecker cleaning its face. But if a human approaches, the buffalo may decide to charge. It's best to keep your distance from a herd. The front legs and hooves of the Cape buffalo are very strong. They have to be, to carry all that weight. Some very different animals can live together quite well. Asian buffaloes love the water. That's why they're called water buffaloes. Sharp horns and hooves scare predators away from the Cape buffalo. Hunted for food and for sport, these animals barely escaped extinction. Bulls fight to protect their territory. That's part of nature. But people make bulls fight for entertainment.
This may be called a monster, but that's because of its looks, not because of its personality. You have to work really hard to get a Gila monster riled up. They'd much rather hide than fight. Most people that have gotten into trouble were doing things like betting they could put their fingers into the lizard's mouth without getting bitten, or carrying a Gila monster inside their jackets. I don't have to tell you that this is really dumb, do I?
Most Gila monster bites have occurred when the Gila monster was being abused. These lizards are not known for their sense of humor. No, so don't tease a Gila.
The hot desert sand and a lack of water and hiding places call for special techniques. Rattlesnakes, female jewel wasps, and scorpions make the desert a tough place to live. The sandfish has all the equipment necessary for living in the desert. The colors yellow and black often signal that an animal carries venom. Besides the Gila monster, the only other venomous lizard is the beaded lizard. Gila monsters chew venom into their victims and render them helpless. Gila monsters aren't exactly quick, so they don't attack fast-moving prey. An egg moves at about the right speed for this lizard.
Here's another creature that's often been the victim of human jokes. Rattlesnakes have been shipped across the country in surprise packages, stuffed into mailboxes, and tossed from person to person at parties. Of course they bite. You'd bite too if somebody was manhandling you like that. Never underestimate how fast or how far a wild animal can move. If you're out golfing and you see a gator floating in the water hazard, don't stop at the edge to get a closer view. That gator's teeth could be clamped onto your leg before you can shout, "Hey, Caddy, how about bringing that cart over here?"
Croc or gator, it's hard to tell the difference. In either case, keep your distance.
Some people think that alligators, not to mention ninja turtles, live in sewers. But don't listen to them. You're much more likely to run into an alligator in a swamp or in the water hazard on a Florida golf course. Just don't get too close to a gator and you'll both be okay.
Don't fall for this reptile smile. Tales of Chinese dragons. Were they inspired by dinosaur bones or by the lizards that are still around today? Baby crocodilians receive tender care from their moms. Other adults keep an eye on them too. Other creatures have alligator names, but the Chinese alligator is a true relative of our American alligator. Reptiles all, these creatures have backbones, scaly skin, and blood that isn't always warm. Alligators live in North America and China, and their cousins, the caimans, in Central and South America. When an anaconda meets a caiman, each might think the other looks like food. It's jaws against muscle. But only one will be the winner. The other will be dinner.
Now, people sometimes have nightmares about vampire bats swooping out of the darkness and biting them in the neck. But let's get real. You'd have to go to Central America, peel a vampire bat off of a cave roof somewhere, gently, they're teeny little things, and press it onto your neck. If you do all that, you deserve to get bitten. Vampire bats can carry disease, so don't let one suck on your neck. But unless you're sacked out among a herd of cattle in Central America, you don't need to worry.
The bat's clawed feet are good for crawling and for hanging upside down while sleeping. The wing of the bat is a marvelous creation. No need for a road map. A bat reads echoes to learn what's nearby. Blind as a bat? Not so this bat. When night falls, bats come out of their hiding places to hunt for dinner. Vampire bats look for large, warm-blooded animals. Just a tiny bite from this tiny bat, and dinner's ready. Bats use their wings not only to fly, but to catch their dinner. They sleep in cool caves and empty buildings. To stay warm, they huddle close.
Constrictors like pythons or boas often appear in pet stores. Now, these snakes are not venomous, so some people think they don't bite. Wrong. How do you think they grab onto a mouse or a bird to eat it? Move too quickly in front of them and you may find out just how long and sharp their teeth are. Also, constrictors feel nice to the touch, but sometimes these snakes want to get too cuddly. If you give one a hug, it may hug you back and it may not let go. A big python could hold you down by just laying on top of you. They can weigh several hundred pounds. So don't invite a python to a pajama party.
Colorful, yes, but in the branches of a tree, prey may fail to see the green tree python. Gotcha! The big boa and the little Mexican milk snake. Call them both constrictors, snakes that take your breath away. A snake is almost all backbone and ribs. Mother pythons care for their eggs, but after they hatch, the little ones are on their own. Pythons and boas see with heat-detecting pits in their head, and smell and taste with forked tongues. Longest snake? Probably a reticulated python. The heaviest? Probably the anaconda. What manners! But chewing your food is not important at the boa's dinner table. Pythons don't need to eat very often. A rat or possum can keep one fed for several days. And a really big meal will keep a python satisfied for weeks.
Darling pups, huh? Sometimes you might see wild animal babies like these fuzzy baby wolves for sale. But not only is it illegal in most places to keep a wild animal, but they really don't make good pets either. Oh sure, they're real cute and fun to play with when they're tiny, but they do grow up. Whoa, bad puppies. When they're big, they act like the wild animals they're meant to be. An adult wolf, even one that you've raised from a pup, may attack livestock, other pets, or even people. The same goes for any predator, like an ocelot or a fox, for example. They're not being mean, they're just doing what nature tells them to do. And obedience training is probably not going to help. A little salamander doesn't look dangerous, so you might be tempted to pick one up. Don't. Many of them have powerful venom that they can squeeze out of special glands when they're scared. Get it on your hands, then wipe your mouth or your eye, and you could end up in the hospital. They don't want to be grabbed anyway, so just leave them alone. Now here's a gentle creature that a lot of divers get into trouble with, even if they don't get bitten by it. Soft and squishy, pretty small animal, right? An octopus may not have much muscle power, but it has suction on its side. It can latch onto a rock with a few arms and hold onto your foot with a couple more. And there you are, stuck onto an octopus who's stuck to the ocean floor. The octopus can breathe underwater. Too bad you can't. So I guess the basic message is, you can have a lot of fun with wild animals, but you've got to respect them too. The fun's in watching them and taking pictures of them, not in teasing them. And it's certainly no fun to fight with them. If you want to explore the animals in this product by yourself, click the Contents button below and take off. But there are lots more tours to choose from. Click My button again to get back to the Guide screen, where you can choose another.
Perhaps you've heard Aesop's fable about how the slow and steady tortoise won a race against the quick but flighty hare. Or maybe someone told you about the man who pulled a thorn from a lion's paw and won his eternal friendship. These tales, and many others besides, came from Asia. They've been translated into so many languages and have so many versions that it's almost impossible to say who told the story first. Click the button to hear a few Asian tales. In India, a story is told of a lonely gardener and a bear who decided to become as brothers to one another, on the condition that the bear never hug the gardener, because you know a bear is much stronger than a man. And all went well until one day a fly landed upon the sleeping gardener's nose. The bear tried to shoo the fly away, but the fly kept returning to land on the bear's friend. Finally, the bear lost his temper and smashed the fly with a rock, killing the fly, but also the gardener. Here is another story from India. 2 buffalo labored on a farm. Nearby in a pen, a pig laid about at its ease, doing nothing but getting fat. Complained the small buffalo, "We work all the time and the pig does nothing." Advised the large buffalo, "Wait and see." One day the fattened pig was slaughtered. Said the small buffalo, "I see that it is better to work hard and live a long life than to have an easy but short life." According to an Indonesian tale, one day a boar woke up and told his friend the antelope, "I must eat you, for I have dreamed this, and it must be so." Said the antelope, "Let us ask the king for a judgment." The king agreed that the boar must eat the antelope for the sake of the dream. A clever ape, overhearing this conversation, leapt down from a nearby tree and announced, "Sire, I will marry your daughter." "Impossible!" cried the king. "Possible," returned the ape, "for I dreamed it, and it therefore must be so." The king refused the ape and reversed his decision on the boar and the antelope. From Nepal comes another tale of an animal who tried to overstep his place. A rat sought the most powerful person in the world to marry his beloved daughter. He first tried the sun, but the sun refused the match, saying, "The clouds are more powerful than I. They can keep me from shining." Said the clouds, "We are blown by the wind." said the wind. "The mountain does not bend before me." Said the mountain, "I can be split by a growing tree." Growled the tree, "How dare you ask me to marry your daughter? You rats make our lives miserable. You gnaw on our roots." The father cried, "So, we rats are the most powerful in the world." And he married his daughter to a fine young rat, which was what she wanted in the first place.
All rodents have vicious teeth. Never try to pick up a wild rat. For that matter, don't squeeze or tease a tame one. My brother's pet mouse latched onto my finger once and I thought I'd never get it off.
A female rodent may spend her entire life having and raising babies, as many as 70 per year. Rats are as much at home in the city as they are in the wild, inside the walls of houses or in sewers under the streets. Rats live easily with humans. Why do rodents constantly gnaw and chew? They have a very good reason. Many rodents have similar tracks, but the rat leaves a sweaty trail. Rats are clean little animals. It's the fleas they carry that transmit disease. The rat patrol, snakes, frogs, and owls keep the rat population down. To make life better for humans, rats have donated more than just time to medical research. Rats can live almost anywhere and will do anything to travel to new places.
According to a story from Iran, one day the father of a young cockroach said, "I can no longer support you. You must find a husband." So Mistress Cockroach put on an onion skin dress and an eggplant skin cloak, sprinkled her head with gold dust, and slipped on a pair of almond shell shoes. She was so beautiful that many fell in love with her, but she married a kind and wealthy mouse. All was well until one day the mouse fell into the cook's kettle while fetching soup for his wife, and he drowned. Poor Mistress Cockroach realized then what mattered most was her husband's love, not her fine clothes or jewels. "From now on," she said, "I will have no pretensions. I will dress like the cockroach I am," which is why cockroaches now go about only in brown or black. From India comes a tale of an elephant and a clever rabbit. In a time of drought, a herd of elephants discovered a pool whose banks were home to many rabbits. Often the poor rabbits were crushed by the elephants' feet as they waded into the water. Finally, a wise old rabbit approached the Elephant King and said, "This pool belongs to the moon, and we are its guardians. You must leave." The elephant laughed. "Prove it," he said. The rabbit said, "Look into the pool." And behold, there was the moon floating in the water, and further, it bore the mark of a rabbit. For in India it is said that there is a rabbit in the moon, rather than a man in the moon. The elephants apologized and left. Another Indian story tells of an unjust lion king and a rabbit who wanted to get rid of him. "Lord," said the rabbit to the lion, "I have seen another mighty lion, and he demands that you prove your superiority." "Take me to this creature," growled the lion, and the rabbit led him to a well. "Look down," said the rabbit, "for there is your adversary." The lion, looking into the water, saw another lion, and sprang upon him with a roar. But it was only the Lion King's reflection, and he drowned in the well. From Tibet comes a tale of a tiger who was convinced by jackals that they are fiercer than he. "Come now," says a baboon, "you are stronger than a jackal. Let us return to them and I'll show you." The tiger is so frightened that he ties his tail to the baboons, the way you and I might hold hands. And when the jackals tell the tiger they'll eat him and the baboon, he runs away so fast that he pulls off the baboon's tail. That is why baboons have no tails today. A Japanese story tells of another strange partnership. A crab was killed by a monkey, who is, as in many Asian tales, an unscrupulous animal. The crab's son asked his friends, a chestnut, a bee, and a mortar stone, to help avenge his father. So the young crab invited the monkey for tea, and the chestnut popped open in the fire and flew into him. As the burned monkey stumbled around, the bee stung him. And as the monkey ran out of the house, the mortar, which was hiding above the door, fell and crushed the monkey. And then the crab's son cut off his head with those great claws. The monkey fares better in this story, also from Japan. One day, the wife of the Dragon King, who lives under the sea in a coral reef, fell ill. The only thing that could cure her was a monkey's liver. The jellyfish, who was at that time armored like a turtle, went to Monkey Island and offered to show the Dragon Palace to any monkey that would ride upon his back. One monkey accepted, but as they traveled, the jellyfish accidentally revealed that the monkey was wanted for his liver. The clever monkey said, "Too bad I left it in a tree. We must return to Monkey Island for it." Of course, the minute they touched dry land, the monkey ran away, and the jellyfish had to return to the Dragon King without the monkey or his liver. The furious king had the jellyfish beaten to a pulp, which accounts for the jellyfish's present state.
In Australia, some lifeguards wear pantyhose to protect against jellyfish stings. Well, it's better to look silly than to have to call an ambulance, but the safest practice is when sea wasps come floating in, swimmers come running out.
Diving in Australian waters? Watch out! The sea wasp has hard-to-see tentacles and deadly venom. Meet the anemone, a close relative of jellyfish like the Australian sea wasp. Like jellyfish, anemones sting their prey. How can something so delicate be alive? You can see right through many jellyfish. To us land dwellers, the oceans are alien worlds, full of beautiful and mysterious creatures. Jellyfish even live in the icy Arctic Ocean, but they're not alone. Lookalikes? The Australian sea wasp is a single jellyfish, the man-o-war more of a community.
According to a story from Thailand, in ancient days the seas were ruled by two sea serpents. They had agreed to share all their food. One day they had an argument over the just division of a porcupine. The fight went on and on until finally the Creator dried up the sea and told one of the serpents to go west and the other to go east until they found different seas, which they did. As they crossed the land, their bodies left tracks that filled with water and became rivers.
If you see anything that looks like a snake underwater, swim in the opposite direction. If you are bitten by a sea snake, you may not be able to get to a hospital in time to save your life. This is a serious snake.
They're snakes, not fish, and sea snakes come up to breathe. Where? In the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Nice relatives. The sea snake counts the cobra, the coral snake, the mamba, and the krait as family. Sea snakes come in just about every color and pattern imaginable. Like the sea snake, which has a flattened tail for swimming underwater, other animals have handy tails too. Although they've adapted to life at sea, these serpents are real snakes, and deadly ones too. Like most wild animals, they're not friendly. They prefer to swim alone. Small fish and eels beware. The venom of the sea snake works fast. They both have skinny, flexible bodies, but the eel is not related to the sea snake. Sea snakes often hide in holes. Keep that in mind if you're out diving in coral reefs.
This last story is from Nepal. One day, a cobra was being pursued by a mongoose. She begged many people for help, but it was a poor young farmer that came to rescue her. She said to him, "Little brother, we've both been scorned, but someday you at least will be honored." She gave him treasure upon treasure, and when the people saw how fine he had become, they asked him to become their ruler. So it is that the farmer was repaid for his kindness to a small and unloved creature. And that, finally, is the point of many of these stories, that every living thing is to be cherished and respected. If you're tired of tales and want to explore on your own, click the Contents button below. But if you'd like to hear more, click my button to return to the guide screen and then choose a different path.
When you're in cobra country, don't sleepwalk. Oh no, these snakes hunt at night, often around human dwellings.
People milk venom from some snakes to make anti-venom for counteracting snake bites. A baby snake can be dangerous too. A tiny cobra is just as venomous as an adult. Cobras are rather slow snakes. Speedy animals like large birds and members of the weasel family can often rush in and bite a cobra before it can bite back. Snakes have to be on guard against birds and other snakes. The cobra, like the Australian frilled lizard, uses a trick to scare away enemies. What do cobras and cane toads have in common? Venom. Some types of cobras slither around in Africa. In some areas, they have to watch out for the sharp hooves of the Cape buffalo.
Africa is one of the most marvelous places on Earth for wildlife. Oh yes, you can see animals for every letter of the alphabet here, from aardvarks to zebras.
African grasslands, dotted with acacia trees, are home to an amazing variety of wildlife. When everyone eats in the same place, it's good that they don't eat the same thing. Sometimes, when the food supply is low, you've got to move on. But moving's not always an easy thing. Enjoy yourself at a waterhole, but don't forget there's danger there too. Everybody enjoys a good mud bath from time to time, don't you? Not everyone goes to a waterhole just to get a drink. Waterholes can be fun, but you've got to have respect for the big guys.
If you put together all the shark attacks, all the spider and snake bites, all the bee and wasp and jellyfish stings, all the attacks of wild animals on people, the total number of people killed by animals still would be only a tiny fraction of the number of wild animals killed by people. I think this planet is big enough for all kinds of creatures, don't you?
Extinction.
Better use of our land would help preserve wildlife habitats. Every time we pollute or destroy the environment, we're also destroying the habitats of many kinds of wildlife. Many animals would be a lot better off if we didn't use our cars so much. You wouldn't want people you didn't even know walking into your house, would you? Some people think it's cool to kill a precious animal. We need to help them understand what they're doing. Everyone can develop bad habits. We've got to help animals stay away from them. Isn't it better to see live wild animals than to have a collection of dead ones? People have been the ones responsible for killing most animals. We need to look at wildlife in a different light. Sometimes friends can visit each other too much. People don't need guns to kill animals. A single oil spill from one of our tanker ships can wipe out life for miles around. We humans often destroy wildlife habitats through ignorance or even by accident.
Protecting animals means more than just getting people to stop shooting them. We've got to make sure they have places to live and raise their young, and the right prey or plants to eat, too.
These creatures are our friends. We can't let them disappear. The last known thylacine, or Tasmanian wolf, died in captivity in 1933. These animals are gone from the earth forever. If they can't protect themselves, we've got to help them out. When we pollute our water, we endanger our environment, our wildlife, and ourselves. What would you do if your neighbor was hurt? Why, you'd help him, of course. The same applies to animals. When we pollute our water, knowledge is the key to finding out how we can help our planet's wildlife survive. Zoos may be the only hope for some endangered species. Every animal deserves to be left to live and thrive in its natural habitat. Wild animals belong in the wild, not in a laboratory.
Some animals seem to exist only to be eaten. Well, if you think about it, that's a pretty important job. I don't think I'll apply for the position, though.
Relationships in the animal world can be very complex. Just look at these creatures, for example. Sometimes different kinds of animals are best buddies and help each other out, like these. A lot of animals, like this one, take something from their world and give something back. That's the way it ought to be, don't you think? The male with the biggest set of horns or antlers is usually the strongest. To prove it, he has to bash heads or wrestle with rival males. A lot of creatures eat only plants, and their teeth are designed for their diet. Some small creatures hang out with bigger ones. Why? To get food, of course. It's quite a menu in the animal kingdom, a particular part of a plant or animal for everyone's taste. Some guys will eat just about anything. Have you ever known anyone like that? What to do if you're food for many predators? Have a lot of babies. Not all creatures that help our planet are pleasant to think about, but they all do their part.
Endangered.
Do you love wild animals? Then don't just sit still. Do something to protect them. Join World Wildlife Fund. Plant trees, recycle, clean up a stream. These creatures need your help.
Without help from the World Wildlife Fund, these animals might completely disappear. They've got an unfortunate reputation, but sharks deserve to be saved too. If you were endangered, wouldn't you want someone to protect you? The fate of Indonesia's tropical rainforests means life or death to hundreds of animal species, like the Komodo dragon. This beautiful beast might be gone very soon without our help. Saving coral reefs is vital for the survival of many kinds of marine plant and animal life. We share our planet with so many wonderful creatures. It's up to us to preserve the Earth in all of its beauty and diversity. World Wildlife Fund works to protect the habitats of endangered species around the world. Its members are making a difference every day. Saving coral reefs. Coral reefs are just one type of many interesting ocean environments.
It's a whole different world below the surface of the ocean. It's fascinating, it's beautiful, and sometimes it's a little scary.
Living with no light requires special talents. Just look at how these guys have figured out how to get by.
Pray.
When you've got a special job to do, you need special tools, and these creatures have them built in. Which water areas do you think have the most life? You might be surprised. Coral reefs can only grow where there's a lot of light. Food and shelter all in one. What more could you ask for? Just about everything in the ocean is somebody's dinner. Just about everything. High tide, low tide. Some creatures can deal with both. This female mantis shrimp keeps a sharp eye, or rather two sharp eyes, out for intruders. If one comes along, She'll do battle to defend her nest and her eggs.